Alright, so our one clue as to what Exogeny and the Geth, and by extension Saren, might be interested in on this planet is this Thorian creature, which Elizabeth mentioned.
Stupid machine. Access encrypted files.
And
No, I don't want to review protocol.
someone else is apparently interested in it as well.
I am unable to comply. Please contact your supervisor.
Damn it! Tell me what I want or I'll blast your virtual ass into actual dust.
Please contact your supervisor for a level 4 security exemption or make an appointment with...
Stupid machine!
If there is nothing else, please step aside. There is a queue forming behind you for the use of this console.
Oh, thanks a lot, computer. Snitching me off. We had to jump on this guy. Certainly wasn't going to be friendly. We know that Saren hires these Krogan. So I'm going to assume, Krogan is looking for the same thing we are, to some extent. Whatever. I know the Krogan certainly lack finesse. If you can't reason with it, then just shoot it and kill it, right? That's their MO. Poor guy's just getting ragdolled all over the place. Alright, well let's ask this computer about this Thorian creature. See if it has anything to say.
Exogeny Corporation reminds all staff that the discharging of weapons while on company property is strictly forbidden. Welcome back, Research Assistant Elizabeth Bainham. What can I do for you?
How do you know I'm Lisbeth?
Your access card identifies you as Elizabeth Bainham. Is there something you require, Dr. Bainham?
What information was the last user attempting to access?
Fetching data. The previous user was attempting to access details on the study of subject species 37, the Thorian.
What did you tell him?
I was unable to provide the previous user with any relevant data. Aside from lacking proper access, there has been no new data available on species 37. All sensors monitoring the observation post at Zoo's Hope have been inactive for several cycles.
What does Zoo's Hope have to do with the Thorian?
Species 37 is located within the substructure of the Zoo's Hope outpost.
Tell me everything you know about the Thorian.
The Thorian is a simple plant life form that exhibits a sentient behavior uncommon with other flora. Through dispersion and the eventual inhalation of spores, it can affect and control other organisms, including humans. The Zoo's Hope control group has yielded interesting results. Before sensors went offline, almost 85% of all test subjects were infected.
Exogeny knew all along what would happen to those people.
It was deemed necessary to assess the true potential of species 37.
That explains their strange behavior. Your pilot should be warned.
Same old story.
Joker! Come in, Joker! Damn it! That field's blocking us.
We must find a way around the field. We must get back to Zoo's Hope.
VI, what can you tell me about the Geth ship and the field it's generating?
I have limited data on the Geth. They have effectively blocked all sensors within the facility. I have detected unusual power fluctuations, but am unable to determine the source.
Please access my personal files.
Elizabeth Bainham, Research Assistant, Biomedical Division, Security Level 4 Exemption. You are currently under probation due to disagreements with management over established company policy. These sanctions may be lifted if your next evaluation is more agreeable.
What triggered the probation?
You were marked as combative about the operations of the Zoo's Hope project, specifically regarding the handling of the infected colonists. As a result, you were tasked with monitoring the safety of the colonists for the duration of the observation.
What do you know about the Geth?
I have no specifics on the Geth as they relate to this facility. All sensors have been purposely decommissioned since their arrival.
I want to know about Exogeny Corporation.
Exogeny Corporation is at the forefront of human expansion in the new galactic economy, funding colonial development and securing resource rights to ensure our progress as a species. Further inquiries regarding company policy may be directed to Consumer Information Services during regular business hours.
Who's in charge here? Who organized the research?
All decisions about local resource analysis and acquisition are made by on-site management, deferring to the board of directors only when seasonal quotas are missed or exceeded. Individual employee records are confidential.
Tell me about the Thorian.
Species 37 was discovered several weeks ago when a small team was infected with spores while examining ruins near the Zoo's Hope outpost. The outpost was quarantined immediately, and study of the infection began. Within 21 days, 58% of colonists exhibited altered behavior. Within 28 days, 85%.
What's the size of this thing?
The Thorian appears to be a diffused creature. Its cognitive abilities are centered in large nerve bundles, but it receives data from kilometers of meandering tendrils. We have discovered bundles approximately 1 meter in diameter, but these seem insufficient to coordinate the massive sensory potential it possesses. It may simply process such stimulation slowly, or perhaps there is a nerve cluster of a greater magnitude we have not yet encountered.
Is it intelligent? Can I reason with it?
The Thorian does not exhibit the focused behavior of a predator. The release of spores is an act of survival, not aggression. It does trigger advanced behaviors in the humans it enslaves, but we have yet to discover whether it recognizes or is capable of recognizing humans as more than tools. It is sufficiently alien as to defy classification at this time.
Do you know how the creature controls its slaves?
The will subversion manifests as intense pain if directives are ignored. The effect is severe enough that subjects are soon conditioned against even minor thoughts of rebellion. Observation suggests the Thorian views its thralls in a utilitarian way. Care is apparently taken to avoid injuring them, much as a craftsman avoids damaging his tools. As long as no action is taken against the creature's objectives, the subjects are free to pantomime a normal existence until specifically tasked with something.
Where's the center of this thing?
The Thorian is present as a weave of tendrils across much of the lower surface of Pharos. Observation of enslaved subjects suggests there may be key clusters that are tended by thralls. Unfortunately, direct observation of species 37 is limited, or non-existent.
That's enough for now.
Going to standby mode.
A few notable things is the Krogan wasn't here asking about the Thorian, it was asking about research data regarding the Thorian. That's specifically what it was seeking. Alright, so it already knew about the Thorian. Interesting, probably sent here by Sarian, who would be familiar with the Thorian also. That's why the Geth are present here. What else they want with it, not sure. Also notable, Elizabeth Bainham in her proclamation of ignorance, her, being very vague, okay? Well, we already know she knows more than what she was saying, but, she had Security 4 clearance, so she knows about everything that was going on here, as far as that goes. Everything that computer just told us are things that she was privy to, and probably even more than that, right? But she wanted to be vague, because liars just have to lie. They just have to cover up the last lie with the next lie, and all in the interest of, corporate greed, or secrets, whatever. It doesn't even matter, okay? But, there you have it. At least she had some kind of conflict of conscience, right? What's going on here? These Geth look like they're praying? It's kind of significant. Them being AI, the whole concept of worship or religion, they must be mimicking that from something. I think we'll find that the Geth pretty much gather whatever information they can from every living species and try to assimilate from that.
Indelicate perhaps, but very efficient. How do we cut the power if it's coming from the ship?
It will be difficult. We can check the other claws for weaknesses, but the Geth are very thorough.
Okay, so the power is coming through with these claws that it's using to anchor itself to the side of the building. So if we can dislodge the ship from the building, essentially we cut all the power off, get these barriers down, get our communications back up, and all that good stuff. Alright, so I don't need to backtrack there anymore. There's a couple little ways we can go here. I also want to find the offices where that guy's mod data is. I'm sure he'll pay us handsomely for that. And of course we also have to find some way to dislodge this ship.
This structure seems to have significance for the Geth. Is it possible they set up this room to serve as a sacred temple of sorts?
The Geth blur the line between organic and synthetic life. It's natural to assume they seek understanding from a higher power.
Well, possibly. I guess it would be logical that if the Geth can't find that spark of whatever it is that they're missing that makes living beings alive, right? That perhaps those living beings get that from a religious source, you know, some kind of spiritual something or another, and so they would look into that and mimic that the best they can or something. That makes sense, I guess. All right, I want to point something out. A couple things about Exogeny here and some suspicions that I have, all right? Now, this is based on a little bit on future knowledge in Mass Effect also, is that I think Exogeny, just to be blunt from the start, I think they are essentially a front for Cerberus. That's what I believe. One of many fronts for Cerberus, all right? Working towards Cerberus interests. This is definitely Cerberus MO right here, to take innocent people and use them as unwilling or unknowing test subjects to further their scientific advancement, blah, 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 all in the name of humanity. So whatever they do is golden because it's all in the name of, you know, keeping, you know, humanity's dominance in the galaxy, blah, 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 all that other bullshit, right? Their knowledge of the Thorian extends beyond them just stumbling upon it a few weeks or months or even a year or two ago or whatever, right? They talk about kilometers of tendrils stretching across the base of the planet. Okay, now the Exogeny we know is up here in a building, coincidentally just across the sky bridge from a colony that seems to be centered right there where the Thorian can influence it conveniently, right? Okay, so I'm actually getting at something here. But if they know that the Thorian is actually at the base of the planet and just stretches out for miles and miles and miles and possibly who knows what, that tells me that they knew something of the Thorian before they ever got here. See, my biggest suspicion is if you have a company that is that worried about every dollar, that is that worried about the bottom line and getting the most out of its research and its time and stuff like that, you know, all the corporate greed involved and blah, 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 that it is not going to waste its time coming to a dead planet that has nothing to offer for no reason and set up a headquarters here. Not only that, but colonize it. Why would you do that? All right, and it's not just that, but it's where they decided to set up their headquarters building, conveniently across the sky bridge from where they just happened to put this colony, so that they would be most fitting to find the best spot to be used as test subjects, right? It's all just a little too convenient, and it sounds planned to me. So what this tells me is that they knew about the Thorian, they discovered it, some scouting group, probably some little black ops group, came and discovered it. Maybe things even went bad. They discovered something of a hostile life form, which the Thorian certainly seems to be, in some way, shape, or form or another. All right? They discover this, and they say, oh, wow, we can use this. This is a military asset. This is a technological asset. This is some kind of something that we can profit from and further, quote-unquote, humanity's cause, right? And so they come and they set up a base here, and they bring some unwilling volunteers, telling them they're going to be, quote-unquote, colonists, right? And that is an MO which we will see repeated in the future from Cerberus. Just saying. Right? This has them written all over it. And I think it's beautiful the way this is written, is they don't come out and say it. And it doesn't really matter if you don't see it, but if you do see it, it's very interesting because you can start investigating a little bit and start reading between the lines on what's being said and stuff and realize, wow, there's more here than what actually meets the eye. It's kind of like solving a mystery in a sense. It's very cool. So there's a few more bits of evidence that I have to support my theory that this is a shadow front for Cerberus, one of probably many. Just about all of these biogenetic research groups that are, you know, looking into, you know, amps and weapon mods and all this other stuff, anything that humanity might use as an edge to kill people, are all pretty much, Cerberus either has their fingers in the pie, in the cookie jar, or something. Their interests are going to be there, some way, shape, or form. Oh, nice. A whole flock of Krogan up here. At least they're not all battle masters. That's nice. Commanders and stuff. Don't need them charging us, though, so... There we go. Nuke them. Look at their health is just stupid. It really is. You just got to keep them airborne, basically. All right, that's one down. Just keep them incapacitated. Nice. I guess he's dead. He died so fast he doesn't even know he's dead. Oh, we got him stuck behind the furniture. Beautiful. Of course, there's going to be loot on the other side of that furniture, and we're going to have to find a way to get to it, but we'll worry about that in a second.
I'm on it.
All right, so their knowledge of this Thorian creature, right, and that it, you know, the size of it and some of its activities, which they wouldn't have been able to figure out with a group of colonists. Like, it mentions thralls and the knowledge of thralls. How would it have knowledge of thralls? There are no thralls among the colonists. The colonists are under some mind control. They exhibit the behaviors of those influenced by the Thorian, where they're not allowed to think for themselves. If they try to think or speak for themselves, then they're punished. Kind of like shock treatment. We saw that down in the tunnels with that Ian dude. But as far as thralls tending to the Thorian as personal gardeners, we haven't seen that among the colonists. So how would Exogeny know about that? That's one example. Two is knowing the size of the thing and the scope of the thing and some of its behaviors and stuff, which it couldn't have ascertained just from simply studying the colonists. All right, you're talking about down on the surface of the planet and going off into miles in every direction. Stuff. We're looking at a scouting group here. What happened to that scouting group? It's whatever happened to it was probably bad, and it's probably what drew Exogeny's interest here in the first place. Another military asset. Well, if it killed our scouting group, maybe it can kill more people too. So let's go take advantage of it and study it and learn from it and that type of thing, right? And somehow Saren caught wind of it, and he's either been here or he's got his Geth here for a reason. They probably want the same thing that Exogeny has, which is all data, any information, anything that can be gleaned from this thing. All right, so I got that guy's data. I got his weapon mod stuff, and now we can commence to finding some way to get rid of this.
Let's keep looking.
Yeah, can't blow it up, but maybe there's another solution. Heavily guarded solution. It's like we got a destroyer down here. One of the alpha guys. Yeah, come on, I'm right here. I'm not going down there. Yeah, let's hack this dude. There you go, Tally. Hack his ass. Get him to fighting for you. See, it distracts all of them. Once one of the Geth turns, they freak out. You're like, see this guy? He's worried about that Geth over there. It's hacked. That's just so useful, man. It's a tactical thing. That Geth may not do any damage. That's not the point. The point is not for him to kill. I mean, if he does some damage, that's great. But the main thing is for him to distract the rest of them. Keep him busy. And my gun stops working for no reason. I haven't been hit with tech. It's not overheated. It's just not working. It just won't fire. It's a bug. It's some kind of stupid glitch. It's almost like you have to pull. Ouch. Okay, I took that to the face. Well, it's a good thing I got strong shields now. And, you can activate a power and fix it, but it's getting a little bit annoying. It's happening kind of often. Tally immediately hacked it. Good girl. Just doing her thing. I love Tally.
A containment lab of some kind.
Oh, rocket trooper.
That ship will fall.
Negative contacts, Commander.
But there is a actual direct link with what's going on here in Cerberus itself, and so I'm going to have to bring up a previous mission, but it's on a discovery that we're going to be making in a little bit, so I don't want to spoil that, but I have even more evidence towards this, but I'm just kind of piecing it together. And like Joker said, only an idiot believes the official story. What that computer is programmed to tell you is the official story, but there was still a few lines that you could read between there to kind of get what was really going on. It's funny how the VI kind of described Exogeny the same way Cerberus would kind of describe itself. The forefront of human advancement and so on, securing humanity's future and blah, 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 and all that garbage. I remember there being a computer around here that talked about a Geth invasion of some sort, but I think we've already uncovered that through Admiral Hackett. So I'm not seeing it here. Yeah, I think one of those little Geth terminals you could hack it. Okay, so we need to get between, what, 31 and 34, 31 and 33, something like that. Okay, 17, 11 would be 28, plus 5 would be 33. I think that's good. If it'll trigger. Hello? Trigger, please. Thank you. There we go. It did it. Severed that arm. Nice. And that was enough to, haha. Bitches. Boom. I hope you hit the Thorian in the head when you got down there, too.
The field barring the exit will be down. Now we can go deal with this Thorian creature. I hope that ship was full of those Geth bastards.
I repeat, Normandy to shore party. Are you reading? Anyone there? Normandy to shore party. Come on, Commander. Talk to me.
Is that you, Joker? What's going on over there?
We're in lockdown here, Commander. Something happened to the colonists. They're banging on the hull, trying to claw their way inside the ship. They're freaking out.
Keep those colonists away from the Normandy. Gun them down if you have to.
Will do, Commander. We'll fire off a few warning shots. That should send them running.
We're leaving, but let's rid this place of those damn synthetics before we go.
Nice. I think we're pretty much done here. We've at least taken care of the Geth. Their presence. They're going to have to go back and lick their wounds. Yeah, I guess having already gotten that mission to go investigate the Geth, there's an entire star system full of Geth. Several planets. And we need to go take care of that. After this, right after we deal with Thorian here, this whole situation with Zeus Hope and stuff, I plan on going and talking to all the crew, because this is considered a major story mission, so we'll be able to progress our relationships with them and stuff. And then we'll probably head back to the Citadel and turn in anything that we can. Do a little bit of checking up. I don't know if there's much to be seen there. I don't know if there's really anything left to do, but I'll go check it out just to see. And I say if there's nothing there, I won't drag you guys through all that, but I'll go look around real quick. And then we'll head over and deal with the possible Geth invasion. Probably a lot of XP to be had there. I say 4 different planets with a potential Geth forward operating base on them, and then whatever resources are there also, assuming the Geth haven't taken them all, right? Sounds profitable to me. Probably walk away with some decent gear.
There you are. We should get out of here. I don't think this place is safe.
You said you didn't know about the Thorian. I don't like being lied to.
I was afraid. I wanted to stop the tests, but they threatened me. Told me I'd be next. When the Geth attacked, I stayed behind to send a message to Colonial Affairs. I tried to tell them where to find the Thorian, but the power cut before I could send the message. I never meant for this to happen.
Where's the Thorian?
The Thorian is underneath Zeus Hope, but the entrance is blocked. The colonists covered it with the freighter just before the Geth attacked.
What bothers me is why the Geth were after the Thorian in the first place.
Well, it does have unique mind control capabilities. That's what Exogeny was interested in.
Normandy to shore party. Come in.
What is it, Joker?
We're getting a lot of Geth comm chatter. Looks like they're headed your way.
You heard the man. Let's move out.
I'm coming with you. I might be able to help. Undo the mess I helped create.
Yeah, her conflict of conscience came a little late. Lots of people have died. We'll clean up any last Geth that we find. Going back across the sky bridge, get back to Zeus Hope. Alright, so the bottom line here is the colony is conveniently set right on top of the Thorian creature, or at least one of its central, what would you say, nerve tendril thingies, or whatever. It doesn't matter. All right, they know about thralls that tend to the Thorian, right? The computer even gave that up inadvertently, but we wouldn't know about that from the Zeus colonists. So this would have to be previous knowledge, right? I'm just kind of piecing this all together. All right, and then, so Exogeny just coincidentally shows up here. They place the colonists directly on top of the Thorian, then place themselves where they can observe the colonists conveniently across the sky bridge in the building next door, right? And had the Geth not shown up and disrupted all their plans here, they'd be gleaning all their mind control information and be using this Thorian thing as, well, as a military asset and stuff, right? So I'm sure they've already done to some extent. All right, so that tells me pre-planned that they had just some kind of foreknowledge of all of this before they ever came here in the first place. Like, Exogeny wouldn't be the kind of corporation to just come here just on the fly and say, oh, wow, since we were here setting up this colony on this barren, desolate, useless fucking planet, lo and behold, we just magically, conveniently found this plant that we just happened to land right on top of. Out of this whole planet, they just happened to put the colonists just directly on top of it. No, sorry, it just, that's all BS. I say we've gotten half the story. And true enough, some of the Exogeny people themselves may not have been aware of what management, right, knew before they ever even got here. That this was all very much by design. And you know, this type of stuff always ends badly, yet they just can't seem to stop doing it. In the name of science, in the name of advancement, in the name of whatever, you know? That is what it is. It shouldn't be too bad of a trip back, I hope. Sounds like Zhong's freaking out.
This is Juliana Native of Pharaoh's colony. Please help us.
What's going wrong? Stop! Stop the rover!
Alright, so this would be the Exogeny side of the colony, these people here, for the most part. Notice they have very similar to Cerberus uniforms. Very similar to Cerberus. Just saying. Just pointing that out.
You can't do this, Zhong.
Everyone shut up! Let me think.
What's going on?
You won't get away with this.
Get her out of here!
Get away from her, you son of a bitch!
Lisbeth!
Damn it! Come out where I can see you! All of you!
Or what?
Shepard. Damn it. I knew it was too much to hope the Geth would kill you.
Oh, really?
I found some interesting facts about you in the Exogeny database. I know what you did during the Blitz, but your heroics aren't needed here.
Not this time, Zhong. You need to back down and let them go.
You don't understand. It's not that easy. Communications are back up. Exogeny wants this place purged.
This is a human colony, Zhong. You can't just repurpose us.
It's not just you. There's something here far more valuable than a few colonists.
Are you gonna tell them about the Thorian, or should I?
The what?
It's a telepathic life form living under Zeus' hope. It's taking control of the colonists there. Exogeny knew all along.
You won't get away with this, Zhong.
So you keep saying, but nobody's gonna miss a few colonists.
Wow.
You're a bean counter, Zhong. I'm a Spectre. Tell me, how good are those odds?
Spectre, it's a load of crap. There aren't any human specters. Right?
Is that really a chance you're willing to take, Zhong?
Exogeny will send more assayers. They'll know what happened.
Tell them the Geth destroyed the Thorian.
Yeah, but the infected colonists can't be here when the company men come.
You can't just kill the colonists. It's not their fault.
If you kill only the Thorian, it might be enough to stop the infection. Maybe.
Good plan. Except the colonists stand between me and the Thorian.
There has to be another way.
Maybe there is. Come and talk to me before you leave, Commander.
Just make sure there's no evidence when you're done.
Zhong needs to die. Yeah, I should have shot him in the
I'm glad you
face.
decided to help us. I think there's a way to avoid killing the colonists.
You got 1 minute.
I think you could safely use a nerve agent to neutralize the colonists.
Like a gas grenade.
Releasing clouds of nerve gas doesn't seem like a particularly good idea.
It's not like it's weapons grade. The insecticide we use in the grow labs contains trace amounts of tetraclopine, a neuromuscular degenerator. If their nervous systems are already weakened, it may act as a paralyzing agent.
A reduced capacity concussion grenade might suit our needs.
Sounds good. I'll do what I can.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Commander.
So Juliana Bainham knows a little bit about what things might be effective. Was somebody affected by the Thorian, huh? Interesting.
My workstation out in the ruins?
I managed to find the data and transfer it to your OSD.
That's very good news indeed. Thank you.
Just give me my credits and I'll be on my way.
You bet. Thanks for all your help, Commander.
This Gavin dude might be the least guilty of all these pieces of crap. He's just a freelancer out here working on his stuff, you know, under less scrutiny than the rest of them. They're a dime a dozen, but all these exogeny scientist people, that Zhong dude worried about the bottom line, willing to murder people for this plant, for $1, for a credit. Oh, man. I was thinking maybe the ultimate renegade option there might have actually allowed me to shoot him in the face. I think the other renegade option actually does. I kind of wish I had, because he really had that coming. Simply because he's willing to murder the rest of the colonists for the company bottom line. And that just, that's, wow. I mean, damn, you know? But, yeah, Juliana Bainham with her knowledge that if you use this, then based on what might happen with their system, how do you know the effects on their systems with this just completely claiming ignorance? And everybody's just got to be full of crap. They all got to be deceitful, devious, lying, filthy, money whoremongering pieces of garbage. I mean, seriously. It's like an incurable condition, man. It is, actually. It is an incurable condition. Ouch. Ouch. I thought that might hit the... Ouch! Okay, let me get out of here. Yeah, this is an awkward spot that they've got me in to fight. Throwing my friggin' Mako all over the place. Now remember what I was saying about Exogeny and possibly it being a Cerberus front, and them having pre-knowledge of all of this stuff before they ever came here to set up their headquarters and their colony, right? And like I say, whatever studies they've been doing since they've been here lean towards further studying something they already knew about. It doesn't smack of something they just stumbled upon while they were here. Like I say, that, you know, there really is no justification for them having come here in the first place, right? But then, so something tells me, once again, I'll just kind of recap, is that they had a scouting party, Black Ops group, something, some surveyors or something come and discover this thing and see it as a possible asset, maybe something the Thorian did its thing on their people. And so now they wanted to come in under controlled circumstances, more scientifically controlled circumstances, investigate it further. And so they came here to do this. And look, the worst part, the thing that points towards their guilt more than anything else is the fact that they put the colony directly on top of the Thorian. That shit wasn't by accident. There's a lot of buildings here. How did they pick that one? And they just conveniently set their little observation post across the sky bridge in the building next door. I mean, that really kind of says it all. But we're about to see something here that really just kind of, yeah, just, well, this kind of seals the deal. Eesh. Alright, so this is a Thorian creeper, right? Okay, this is not a colonist. Alright, so where did this come from? This is obviously a human transformed to something. This is one of those thralls I was talking about. This is basically one of the Thorian's personal gardeners, or keepers. Right?
No amount of infection could have altered a human to that extent. I wonder what is going on here.
No hitting the colonists, even if the Thorian makes them fire on us. That's what the gas grenades are for.
As you order, Commander Shepard.
Alright, so if these thralls here, these Thorian creepers, were made from people, what people? It wasn't the colonists, right? And I don't think it was any of those people that were killed by the Geth on their attack. These are people that came before. And these people are a result of how I believe Cerberus discovered the existence of the Thorian in the first place. Right? And so Exogeny comes back, and like I said, they try to have a controlled observation of all this here, right? And allow the colonists in a more of a secure setting, scientifically controlled setting, to become mind controlled. And this is probably the inevitable end of the colonists right here. These things. I have no doubt about that at some point. And there's probably nothing that the Exogeny / Cerberus guys could probably do to prevent that, and they probably wouldn't care, as long as they got enough data along the way and found some way to use this to some kind of military advantage, right? But here's what I really wanted to point out, is we saw these Thorian creepers at the Cerberus base when we were following up on Admiral Kahoku, remember? So Cerberus already had their hands on the thralls. They already had their hands on the creepers. So if these creepers aren't the colonists, if these creepers are from perhaps some investigators or some kind of scout or research team that came before the colonists, then even if they weren't Cerberus somehow managed to get their hands on these things, right? And to get their hands on these things, it would have had to have not only been aware of the Thorian and gone deep into the heart of where the Thorian controls things. Because like I say, the Thorian sent these out to defend itself and to defend its colonists. Remember, even the computer said is the Thorian will not harm its own tools. It will protect its tools. And so this is what it's doing. It's trying to protect the colonists and itself by sending these thralls out after us, right? But the whole point is that Cerberus had its hand on these thralls, which means it knew about the Thorian and everything else already ahead of time, right? Okay, so there you go. And that is my last little bit of evidence that tells me that Exogeny is not only Cerberus, but it also says a lot about how Cerberus acts and how far they're willing to go in their interest to quote unquote further humanity, having no humanity of their own, right? Furthering the very thing that they don't have any of, which is humanity. But there you have it. That's their justification for doing all that they do. We'll go ahead and try to save the colonists. I could get some renegade points by killing them all, but they actually will pop up later in Mass Effect if we save them. And I mean, it's, you know, I'm not going to run around murdering them. If you can save them and you don't, you murder them. I mean, it's pretty simple. So that's not what my Shepard is about. Even though I would love some free renegade points. I got those by telling Zhong to shut his bitch ass mouth. I got my renegade points for that. Alright, beautiful thing about biotics is it's all about mob control. Remember what I was saying earlier is that being stuck with pistols is it'd have been nice to put points in the pistol, but I mean, you only have so many skill points. It only gives you so many per level, and you gotta, you know, pick and choose. And biotics are definitely more important. At least on Insanity, they're more important for crowd control and stuff. You'll eventually hit things with your pistol, and if you're doing a little tiny bit less damage, okay, but considering many of your enemies can 1- and 2-shot you, like these little creepers, if they get up on you and throw up on you, you're instantly dead, basically, or real close. And so being able to control them and keep them incapacitated, that's more important than doing an extra point or two of damage with my pistol for the time being, you know. That's how I look at it anyway. Like I say, you have to pick and choose. Alright, I don't want any stray fire hitting the colonists, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep kind of kiting these creepers to me, clear them out, and then I can go in, and I basically have to let the colonists shoot me in the face while I'm lining up my grenades, but that's fine. We can take we've got shields, and none of these people deserve to die. They've been they really are the innocents in all of this, and like I say, completely overlooking that, it signifies a loss of humanity to the point where the cost is too high. There's no justifying it. There is no military advancement that couldn't be gotten some other way here But this is the easy way. And then it comes down to greed and profit and the bottom line and stuff like that, right? And there's no justifying taking life for that.
Fire in the hole.
Oh man, phew.
Get down.
I've only got 2 grenades left. A miss is expensive. A miss could cost some of these colonists their life. That's how I'm looking at it. So
It is clear that they are protecting the Borealis. We have got to move one of those cargo blocks.
nice, nice box of grenades. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. You say that the sooner you can get those colonists out of the way, or the more you can keep them out of your line of fire, better chance you have of not at least accidentally killing one. Damn, take him out with your shotgun, Tally. Damn. Tally with a shotgun. It may not have much range, but damn. It can be effective. Alright, that's our goal. That's what we're after. Can I get lucky? Nice. Oh, it's hard to judge the distance here. Ah, damn, why'd you have to run left? I don't know if I can get behind this box or not. Shit, I'm not wasting any more. I've only got 3 left. I don't remember how many more colonists there are. Let's just wake all these guys up and draw them way back here somewhere. Oh, that's Maka Doyle. Yep. Okay, so this is where the Thorian completely takes over and goes straight into mind control mode. Okay, we do not want him vomiting on Liara. No, no! Bullshit. Too late. Yep, see, insta-kill. They are not playing around. That is a toxin, and I've got the medical interface mods on also. So we've got, what, 30-40% toxin resistance, and it's still a one-shot kill. So, they may seem like kind of a joke, they're not. How do I get off? Now Tally's going down. Yep. Let me get some singularity. Bye, Tally. This is the price you pay trying to save all these colonists. Well, you gotta admit, Tally's got a good heart. She's willing to die for these people, right? Right? She's amazing. This really is my go-to squad right here. These are really probably my faves. I really like Garrus as a character, and I love the dialogue with Garrus, and I talk to him whenever I can. But as far as running out and fighting and stuff, these 2 are my favorite. I just...
Get down!
Alright. Oh no, don't move. Nice. I've only got 2 grenades. Please let that be right on target. Nice. Alright, I got 1 grenade left. If there's 2 colonists in 2 different spots, I'm screwed. I think that's it, though. I think we got them all. I think we saved everybody. Nice! That was a clean run. That was, well, Tally and Liara might not think so when they got puked on. Sorry, girls. But, yeah, no deaths. No nothing. Alright, so we can deal with this Thorian and get rid of... You know, but if it's dropped all these spores and left them everywhere to be inhaled and stuff... I don't know, this may not be the end of their problems.
I tried to fight it, but it gets in your head. You can't imagine the pain. I'm supposed to be their leader. These people trusted me. It wants me to stop you, but I won't. I won't!
Damn it. Well, notice it still shows our colonists alive, all of them. I don't think there's a way to prevent that. Look at that. He took out himself. So, damn. That's courage, man. These colonists, they got some guts. Guts and balls to go with it. I mean, seriously. Well, down into the heart of it, right? Yeah, Paragon plus 30. You can get plus 32 Renegade for killing everybody, but yeah, it's sorry. Shepard doesn't roll like that. Not even for cheap Renegade points. Tempting. From a player standpoint, but my Shepard, no. She's the opposite of all that. Maybe a little rough around the edges, but she's got a good heart.
Alright, we just need to find this creature and determine what it... Kira, what is that?
Nothing's ever simple, is it?
Damn. This may not even be the heart of it. This could just be one nerve bundle, like they were saying. They certainly seem to know a lot about this thing. But notice this is where the thralls are centered. How did they get their hands on the thralls before the colonists were ever even here? Or even while the colonists were here? And why did we find them at a Cerberus facility? Do you see what I'm getting at? Okay. I think I said enough on that, but there you have it.
Invaders, your every step is a transgression. 1,000 feelers appraise you as meat, good only to dig or decompose. I speak for the old growth as I did for Saren. You are within and before the Thorian. It commands that you be in awe.
You enslaved the colonists. You destroyed their minds. I don't know what Saren wanted with you, but I just want you dead.
The Thorian is a piece of this world, extending across the land and back through the ages. You can no more kill it than cut the sky. Your blood will feed the ground.
You want to bet? I can sure try. I know that. Okay, it's able to clone people. I still don't know if that's significant. I really don't. Oh wow. Look, I should so be dead. It bypassed my shields and everything. And I believe medical interface actually saved me right there. Literally saved me. So the plant can't really defend itself. It relies on thralls and mind-controlled subjects and stuff like that. No! Son of a bitch. No end to these things, is there? You toss any out? There we go. Yeah, just toss them out of the playing field. Big old nasty plant. Where's that? There it is. Get off me. Keep your vomity lips over there somewhere. Damn. Well, at 66 XP a piece, we ought to walk out of here with 1,000,000 XP. There's going to be a bunch of these things. Alright, so where did all these people come from? All these thralls. Like, was it just the previous research team that discovered the Thorian? Which I'm convinced, right? Obviously. I've said it about 1,000 times. Or even more than that. Was there already a human colony here, an attempt at a human colony before also? And then perhaps it disappeared, went silent, and so they came to investigate it, then the investigators went silent. You know, or something, I don't know. Take advantage of any opportunity to save right here too. Every time we get the all clear signal and zero part, this can get really, really nasty. Especially when you start getting surrounded. They can just circle you, vomit all over everybody, and that's it. It's all over. Alright, basically each time we bust one of this thing's little feelers stuck to the wall, we gotta face one of these Asari clones too. Pretty much. Okay, where's she at? There she is. Start taking her out first if we can. She's the biggest threat. She comes with a shotgun and she is not playing any games. Got anyone behind us? See, oh man, you never know when they're gonna wake up behind you too. You get surrounded and it's over. It's basically over. Like I said, they throw up on you from about 2 or 3 different directions, and their melee is really strong too. So they got those claws. Get off me. Get off me. Oh, get off me. Stay down. Damn. Yeah, we're going to level up 1 or 2 more times before we're done here, I think. Yeah, it's got a lot of these things at its disposal, man. All these people came from somewhere. Maybe it did simply take the dead or those missing from the initial Geth attack. Possibly the initial Geth attack coincided with Saren coming to investigate this thing, or Saren's agents coming to investigate this thing. And what they thought, people that were killed in the attack, they said there was 1,000-something colonists initially. Now it's just a dozen or 2, right? So that's a lot of people missing. And that could be where all these came from. And they just actually weren't killed. Or they were killed, and these are like reanimated corpses, maybe is what these things are made of. That actually may be possible. I don't know. I don't know that it really matters. We just need to kill them all. Nice. I think this thing is trying to speak to our brain. Sounds like a record being played backwards. I'm gonna assume we got another Asari clone in here somewhere.
Target in sight.
I'll take that. Took one out of the game right there. See if we can get another one. Almost. There she is. Push her ass out of there. Oh, I don't have throw. Damn it. And my gun stops working. Nice. Nice timing. She's tough. She's effective with that shotgun, too. Effective.
Negative contacts, Commander.
Oh, this would be a great spot to save. So I have about 4 more points in throw, 5 more points in lift. It's about 9, puts you about 43. About the time we get to 50, I'll have the robotics that I'm concerned about maxed out and my pistol maxed out too. I think it'll be alright. We're really effective enough now where everything on top of this is pretty much just gravy. I personally think it's just as important to max out the class skill tree and the Spectre skill tree and the with the Nemesis, you know, the upgrade that we got from doing the Luna mission. Maxing those out before anything else, because that really provides buffs to just about everything you do. Damn. I'm not dropping a lot of grenades. That's kind of sucks. Those are coming in real handy right here. Damn. Yeah, she's kind of mad about the last one, I think. Take that. Be mad about that. That's what you do. She's just not going to die, is she? We're out of anything we can really use to... Oh, nice job. There you go. Last second. It's a different ball game when you can't throw them around and toss them around like rag dolls. Lay down. Bitch ass plant. Friggin' plant. Okay, here's where it gets bad. Basically, I remember this too. Is once you get the medical station here, which usually has armor in it, right? Yeah. This is where it gets nasty. This is twice as bad as any of the previous fights. Lucky I can save right here. Good deal. And this isn't that big of a deal. It's quite a few of these guys right here, but we'll turn around the corner and you almost have to get surrounded. You have to pass up a bunch of these guys while they're sitting there. And then you run face first into a one of those Asari clones on a stairwell. And you got these guys behind you and in front of you, and you got to get out of it somehow. It's bad. Like I said, it'd really be nice if I had some grenades right now. That'd be beautiful for some crowd control, but I don't, so do our best with what we got. Get off my followers. Getting sick of that vomity stuff you're doing. There we go. Yeah, that was only half of them. Isn't that crazy? I know this one is a little bit longer video. Most of these are tending to be long. They're at least, it seems like an hour or more. But really no way to break this up, you know? I guess I could get a few more videos out of this if I broke it up into 20, 30, 40-minute segments here and then. You know, but no. Jeez. Some of these seem a little tankier than the others. Nope, nope. Are you stuck up there? Oh, what a shame. Sucks to be you. I can't hurt you, you can't hurt me. Oh, yes, you can hurt me. Yep, I'll be getting out of that. It's disgusting. Oh, that'd have been embarrassing to end it all right there. All right. Now this is where it gets bad, really. Oh, no, not yet. Take that back. Soften them up a little bit. There we go. Got the clone out of the way. Good deal. Okay, now you can get out of here. Thank you very much. Wow. Nope. Interesting. You can save your followers with that if you can get there right on time. Only takes them a second to charge up their little puke bomb, but you do have a second in there to interfere. Now, how many more of these things do I have to break? Okay, this is where it gets. This is what I was talking about right here. Okay, you got to bypass 3 or 4 of these guys. I'm gonna try it this way. Wow, already got Tally just that fast, huh? Son of a bitch. I don't remember what causes these two right here to wake up, but I don't want them flanking me. Come on, Tally, come on down here. We do some massive AoE? That would be beautiful. This is where biotic explosions would really come in handy. Seriously. I've got the Asari in there somewhere. Oh, they woke up. Son of a... They woke up right on top of Tally, too. Boy, Tally's catching the worst end of this, isn't she? I don't have anything to... Get off me. Please die. Please die. Thank you. Oh, the Asari's still up. Damn! I don't have any... See, this is where you need a grenade. Right here. End all this business real quick. This proof right here of why it's more important to put points into your singularity in your lift before you do your pistol. That right there. Pistol wasn't going to keep me alive right there. Even those guys charged with singularity. That'll keep you alive. Definitely. Alright, can we finish this off without Tally? I think so. Trying to send him out of the battlefield completely. Oh. Come on, Leon. I don't think I can save her. Nope. Can't save her. I'm gonna have to finish it by myself. It's one. More damage to him. Son of a bitch. Give myself a couple seconds for everything to recharge. Good deal. Good deal. Send him out of the map. Yeah, I think I sent him through the wall. Beautiful. Yeah, that's that right there. That's the most brutal part of this. I think this is the last one. Probably got another Asari too, I would think. I think that's her hiding. Yep, there she is. Alright, we're just gonna nuke the crap out of her this time. Bitch pissed me off on the last one. Take that. Hit him with that. Hit him with that. Hit him with that. Nothing's coming through that door. Got crowd control now. Yeah, we're good. We'll be fine. Yeah, go ahead. You can hide over there if you want to. It's not gonna do you any good. More worried about these guys in front. Keep the ones up off of us. And that Asari clone is still up. Wow. I fucking thrower. See ya. I could just kill the branch right now and end all this, but hey, I'm getting paid for this. Getting 60 XP apiece for these guys. Might as well take them out, right? No, off me. Got him. Nice. See ya, Petunia. This one's not green.
I'm free. I suppose I should thank you for releasing me.
How did you end up inside that thing?
My name is Shiala. I served Matriarch Benezia. When she allied herself with Saren, so did I. Benezia foresaw the influence Saren would have. She joined him to guide him down a gentler path. But Saren is compelling. Benezia lost her way.
You chose to side with Saren. So did Matriarch Benezia.
Benezia underestimated Saren, as I did. We came to believe in his cause and his goals. The strength of his influence is troubling.
Benezia sought to turn the river and was swept away.
Makes sense.
Asari matriarchs are among the most intelligent and powerful beings in the galaxy. How could one fall under Saren's control?
Saren has a vessel, an enormous warship unlike anything I've ever seen. He calls it Sovereign. It can dominate the minds of his followers. They become indoctrinated to Saren's will. The process is subtle. It can take days, weeks, but in the end, it is absolute. I was a willing slave when Saren brought me to this world. He needed my biotics to communicate with the Thorian, to learn its secrets. Saren offered me in trade. I was sacrificed to secure an alliance between Saren and the Thorian.
Then why were the Geth trying to destroy the Thorian?
After Saren had what he needed, the Thorian became a liability. Saren knows you are searching for the conduit. He knows you're following his steps. He attacked the Thorian so you could not gain the cipher.
What's the cipher? And why did Saren need it?
Unclear, confusing. They were meant for a Prothean mind. To truly comprehend them, you must think like a Prothean. You must understand their culture, their history, their very existence. The Thorian was here long before the Protheans built this city. It watched and studied them. When they died, it consumed them. They became a part of it.
Just give me some plain answers. Where is the cipher?
The cipher. When I melded with the Thorian, our identities merged, our minds intertwined. Such knowledge as I did with Saren. Embrace eternity.
This is kind of like sexy time here. Except for the visions. Not much sexy about that. Alright, so we get to witness the Prothean extinction right here. But I just had an epiphany. I just learned something. Wow, I just learned something. I see why the beacons are set up the way they are. I see exactly why. It's ingenious, actually. Protheans were pretty slick.
I have given you the cipher, just as it was given to Saren. The ancestral memories of the Protheans are part of you now.
What was that? Commander Shepard, are you all right?
I saw something. It still didn't make any sense.
You have been given a great gift. The experience of an entire people. It will take time for your mind to process this information.
We should get you back to the ship where you can be monitored.
I'm sorry if you have suffered, but there was no other way. You needed the cipher. In time, it will help you understand the vision from the beacon.
I want to know more about you.
There is nothing remarkable about me. I was merely one of Matriarch Benezia's disciples. For nearly 2 centuries, I followed her, learning at her feet. When Benezia revealed her plan to join Saren, she gave her disciples a choice. Only those who were willing had to follow her. Many felt her plan was too dangerous. But I believed in her. I thought she could turn Saren away from his insanity. Instead, we joined him in it.
Is there anything else you can tell me about the Thorian?
When the creature enveloped me, I became part of it. But I still don't truly understand it. So alien, so ancient. Its exact age is impossible to know. It measured time differently. 10,000 years of hibernation broken by a few frantic centuries of activity. Its mind was awesome, magnificent. It transcended all classification. And now it is gone.
Don't tell me you feel sorry for that thing.
The Thorian was a unique life form. A sentient being that lived for 50,000 years, maybe more. There is nothing even remotely like it in the known galaxy. I'm grateful you saved me from a life of thraldom. Yet I cannot help but feel some sorrow for the loss of such a rare and remarkable creature.
True. It's unique.
What else can you tell me about Saren?
There is little I could tell you that you do not already know. He's powerful, he's charismatic, and he is dangerous. Once I followed him, blind to his true nature. But now I see he's leading the galaxy into an age of darkness and suffering.
I want to know more about Benezia.
Benezia was greatly respected among our people. A powerful biotic, even for an Asari. She was widely known as a teacher of philosophy and religion. She always sought the paths of peace and harmony. She joined with Saren because she hoped to turn him away from his path of destruction.
Instead, she became one of his most powerful allies.
As I mentioned before, Matriarch Benezia underestimated Saren. Be sure you do not make the same mistake.
Tell me more about this ship Saren has.
Sovereign is alien. I do not know how it was built or where it comes from. Its design does not match that of any known spacefaring species. It dwarfs any vessel in the Citadel or Alliance fleets. Its weapons are devastating, its defenses virtually impenetrable. With it, Saren believes he is unstoppable.
You said Saren uses it to manipulate his followers.
The indoctrination. There is an energy about Sovereign. You feel drawn to the ship. It makes Saren's arguments more persuasive, more compelling. Spend enough time in Sovereign's presence and you will lose yourself. There is no other way to explain it.
Now that you're free of the Thorian, what are you planning to do next?
If you allow it, I would like to stay here with the Colonists. They have suffered greatly and I played a role in their suffering. I would like to make amends.
The Colonists will need all the help they can get. They'll be happy to have you on their side.
Thank you, Commander. May fortune smile upon you.
I can't believe it.
Hmm.
Zhong says we'll have all the money we need to keep this place running. It's because of you, Shepard. I can't thank you enough.
Till you find some way to repurpose the colonists for some other genetic experiment, right? Is that how that goes?
Thanks again. That data will be very valuable once I get
Okay, alright, two things here is one is how did Matriarch Benezia become how was she clued in on Saren's plans? Saren's agenda, Saren's philosophy, Saren's whatever he's operating under.
Glad to see you survived your encounter with the Thorian.
I fought so hard, but any thought of my own caused so much pain.
Huh. But
I will do what I can to assist the colony in this difficult time. I am ashamed of the damage done to the lives of these people.
interesting.
Farewell, Shiala.
Farewell, Commander. I wish you well in your hunt.
I actually like her. Take her for a word. I just mind melded with her. I guess I would know if she was bullshitting me or not. But alright, did Saren go to the Asari looking for something? I'm actually looking ahead towards Mass Effect 3. For those of you that have played Mass Effect 3, you might know what I'm talking about. That he may have gone to the Asari and found something he was looking for, and Matriarch Benezia thought she would go in and dissuade him, and she wound up getting caught up in the tide. Which I believe is essentially what happened, right? But I just learned something here. This is really cool. The Protheans, I initially thought that they had intended their beacons to pass along data to the next cycle so that the next cycle could take what they had given them and improve upon it, hopefully, and eventually end this cycle of extinction at the hand of the Reapers, right? And I was right and wrong, is they did intend for it to be received.
I never thought I would be so thrilled to see a soldier. Forgive my previous inaction, but under the Thorian's influence, every thought was examined and filtered.
What will you do now that the fighting is over?
I may stay, try to recover my losses. I can have new supplies delivered within weeks. Perhaps the colony will survive after all.
Let me see what you have in stock.
Of course. Return in the future, and I may even have more to see.
Let me sell some of this junk I just collected. Well, he's got some level 7 weapons. That's a good sign. Yeah, I can get rid of all this stuff. Everyone... These two are going to be with me on the next main story mission also. And we pretty much have what we need. We got the best of all this stuff, so... I don't know. I might save a little bit of it and go look around. When we get back to the Normandy, I'm going to go talk to everybody. And I'll probably equip everybody, too, with some stuff. Definitely want to keep hold of this set of Titan armor for Ashley. Although I'll probably run into a much better set here shortly. Anyway, so the Protheans had specifically intended for their data, for all their combined accumulative knowledge to be passed on to the next cycle. But this is genius. They encoded it so that no machine could possibly hack into it. Because see, if you have an AI, the first thing that AI is going to be able to do is hack into your stuff. So whatever you've left for the next cycle, all the machines would have to do is hack into it, figure out what you're leaving them, and then counteract it, right? So what do? They program it in the only way that a machine can't access it, is you have to be alive. That's the one thing the machines can't do. And that is, I believe, the moral of the entire Mass Effect story. Is these machines being created, and they have everything but the one thing they actually really want. That they would sell everything else for, is the machines would like to just be alive. That's what they want. They want a conscience. They want a free will. They want a soul. And that is the one thing they can't have, no matter how well you program them to mimic real life.
Is out of my head. I can think without pain. And with the power cells you brought, I can get this place up and running again. Thanks, Commander.
You see what I'm getting at? Is that is the one way to encode all of your stuff that you're passing along so that no machine can ever have it. Is the only one that can receive it is a living mind. All right, and the Protheans also went a step farther as they encoded it so that only a mind equivalent of theirs could take hold of that information, because if you weren't at least as smart as the Protheans, then you were kind of useless, in a sense. If the next cycle doesn't advance enough to be able to receive what the Protheans have to offer, and then take that ball and run with it, basically like a relay race, in a sense, right? Is grab that baton and run the next lap, then there's really no point anyway. Then the beacons can just sit around until someone competent and capable enough to receive what these beacons have to offer can use them. Interesting that Shepard was able to receive any of it. And Liara is right, is that it takes an incredibly strong-willed and advanced mind to be able to receive any portion of what the beacons have to offer. And so, anyway, we get pieces of it, and with the combined knowledge or whatever, like the Asari consider themselves kind of a mixing pot of all the different species, right? Because they can mate with essentially anyone, and they continually add to their species each time they meld with some new species, right? They take their combined knowledge and experience and genetic evolution and just whatever, right? And they kind of absorb that within themselves, and they grow like that. And so, kind of adding to that and giving that to Shepard's mind, we now have obtained the cipher, which is essentially what Saren wanted also. But anyway, I thought that was really cool, because the Protheans had guaranteed a way to keep the knowledge in the beacons from the machines by encoding it so that only a living mind can receive it. How ingenious is that? Wow, okay, I just that may be old news to everybody else. I just figured that out. I think that's pretty cool.
Commander, you look pale. Are you suffering any ill effects from the cipher?
My brain's been scrambled like an egg. How do you think I feel?
I might be able to help you. I am an expert on the Protheans. If I join my consciousness to yours, maybe we can make some sense of it.
Do it. Hurry. We don't have much time.
That actually is kind of the point right there, isn't it?
Relax, Commander. Embrace eternity.
Oh, we're getting clearer images at least. Notice the machine's attachment to what looks like brain matter and stuff.
Incredible. All this time, all my research, yet I never dreamed. I am sorry. The images were so vivid. I never imagined the experience would be so intense. You are remarkably strong-willed, Commander. What you have been through, what you have seen, would have destroyed a lesser mind.
Did you see anything?
The beacon on Eden Prime must have been badly damaged. Large parts of the vision are missing. The data transferred into the commander's mind is incomplete.
You sure you didn't come across any kind of clue or hint? Something we might have missed?
Everything I saw you already know. You were right about the Reapers. The Protheans were destroyed by a race of sentient machines. I think it is obvious there is a connection between the Reapers, the Prothean extinction, and the Conduit, but I did not see anything that would help us find it.
What's our next move?
I was able to interpret the data relayed through your vision, what was there at least, but something was missing. Saren must have the missing information. Maybe he found another beacon. If we can find the missing data from your vision, I can... I am sorry. The joining is exhausting. I should go to the medical bay and lie down for a moment.
You sure it was the joining? I feel fine.
Your role in our communion is passive. I am the one who must submerge myself in your mind, drown myself in your thoughts. It is more difficult than it looks. The human subconscious instinctively resists the joining, Commander. A strong personality like yours makes it even harder.
We're done here. Dismissed.
I've sent off the Pharos report, Commander. You want me to patch you through to the Council?
Patch him through, Joker.
Setting up the link now, Commander.
Commander, is this some kind of game? Are you calling in a report just so you can cut us off again?
Maybe.
Don't piss me off and I won't disconnect you.
You don't make demands on us, Shepard. Spectres answer to the Council, not the other way around.
You need to back off and let me do my job.
Of course, Commander. We received your files on Pharos. Things would have been much easier if Exogeny had told you about the Thorian.
You might have been able to capture it for study instead of destroying it.
Wow, Salarian mind.
The only reason to study a creature like that is to figure out how to kill it.
Yes, kill it. That's how you humans usually deal with things you don't understand.
The Thorian enslaved and killed innocent civilians.
Perhaps it's for the best then. At least the colony was saved.
Of course it was saved. Shepard would go to any lengths to help a human colony.
That's enough.
Goodbye, Counselor.
Oh, lost the connection, ma'am. Sorry.
I love that. That never gets old. It never gets old. Hanging up on the council. Gotta love it. All right. Well, where do we go next? Actually, I want to talk to all the squad and see what they think about things up to this point, and maybe hit the merchant down there in the Mako Bay and all that good stuff. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. If you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, you can click that image in the middle. It should send you straight to the playlist. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me for an hour and a half, basically. All right, catch you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.